morning, students. Welcome back to our video lecture. Today we are going to start with the third lesson of history, that is religious synthesis. Now students, what do you mean by religious synthesis? You can see in the picture there are many religions which are combined or which have brought together. So the meaning of religious synthesis is blending or combining two or more religious belief system into a new system. As we know, diversity of languages and religion is an important characteristic of the Indian society. Considering this feature, the Indian Constitution has adopted the principle of secularism. Secularism means equal treatment to all religion. In medieval India too, attempts to bring about religious synthesis in social life were made on the basis of this principle. Among these efforts, the Bhakti movement, Sikhism, and the Sufi sect have a significant place. These different streams of thoughts arose in different parts of India. They emphasized harmony between the different sects and religions, along with devotion means love or closeness to God. We shall study them in this chapter. Initially, rituals and Brahmadhyan means knowledge of Hindu supreme God, were greatly emphasized in the Indian religious life. In the medieval period, they gave way to Bhakti Marg, means the path of devotion or dedication. Bhakti Marg did not give undue importance to hierarchies, which further facilitated religious synthesis. In the different regions of India, we find different form of the path of devotion according to the local situation there. The Bhakti movement used the common people's language instead of Sanskrit. This helped the development of regional languages. Now let us see about Bhakti movement in detail. It is believed that the Bhakti movement originated in South India. The Nayanar and Alwar Bhakti movements emerged in this region. The Nayanar were devotees of Shiva, while the Alwar were devotees of Vishnu. There were also attempts to consider Shiva and Vishnu as one and the same and bring them together. Harihar, ideals which depict half Vishnu and half Shiva, were produced in this period on a large scale. People belonging to all social strata, that is, all social status or level, had participated in this Bhakti movements. They preached values like love of God, humanity, compassion, that is, care or sympathy, and mercy, etc. Ramanuja and other acharyas strengthened the base of the Bhakti movement in South India. They told people that God is for all. God does not discriminate. The teaching of Ramanuja had a great impact in North India also. Sant Ramanand strengthened the Bhakti movement in North India. Sant Kabir is a well-known Sant in the Bhakti movement. He did not attach any importance to places of pilgrimage, vratas, or idol worship. For him, truth was God. He taught that all human beings are equal. He did not believe in any differences based on caste, creed, sect, and religion. He wanted to bring about Hindu and Muslim unity. He criticized the extremely orthodox people in both Hindu and Muslim religions in strong terms. In Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu underlined the importance of Krishna Bhakti. Due to his teachings, people joined the Bhakti movement in transcending, that is, exceeding the boundaries of caste and creed. Under his influence, Shankara Deva spread the Bhakti movement in Assam. Narsi Mehta was a renowned Vaishnava saint in Gujarat. He was an committed devotee of Krishna. He gave the message of equality. He is known as the first poet of Gujarati language. Sant Mirabai stressed the importance of devotion to Krishna. She belonged to the royal family of Mewad. She renounced all pleasure of the royal family and involved herself in devotion to Krishna. She composed devotional verses in Rajasthani and Gujarati. Her devotional verses give the message of devotion, tolerance, and humanity. Sant Sena was an inspiring sant. Sant Rohidas was a great sant. He gave the message of equality and humanity. Surdasa, a great poet in Hindu literature, composed the poetical work Sursagar, Devotion to Krishna. Krishna Bhakti is the subject of his work. The verses on Krishna Bhakti composed by Muslim Sant Raskhan are melodious. Ramacharitra Manasa of Sant Tulsidas is a beautiful composition expressing devotion to Rama. In Karnataka, Basveshwar spread the Lingayat stream of thoughts. He opposed the caste system and stressed the dignity of labor. Kayakava Kailas is his well-known saying, which means work is Kailas, that is, work is worship. He encouraged women's participation in his movement. Men and women belonging to all castes began to participate in the religious decisions conducted in the hall Anubhava Mantapa. Sri Basveshwar conveyed his teachings in the language of the people, that is, Kannada, through the medium of Vachana literature. His work has a great impact on society. His followers have composed their work in Marathi also. Of this composition, Parama Rahasya, composed by Manmat Swami, is very well known. Great sons in Karnataka include Purandar Dasa and others. They composed many devotional verses in Kannada. Mahanubhav Pant. In the 13th century, Chakradhar Swami founded the Mahanubhav Panth in Maharashtra. This sect preached devotion to Krishna. Sri Govind Prabhu was the guru of Chakradhar Swami. The followers of Chakradhar included men and women belonging to all castes and creeds. He supported equality. He traveled to all parts of Maharashtra preaching in Marathi. He preferred Marathi instead of Sanskrit. This led to the development of the Marathi language. Many works were composed in Marathi. This sect mainly spread in Vidarbha and Marathwada regions of Maharashtra. Riddhipur in Vidarbha is an important place for people in this sect. This sect has reached up to faraway regions like the Punjab and Afghanistan. Some of the main compositions of the followers of Mahanubhav Panth: the treatise Leela Charitra composed by Mahim Bhatt, Dhawale of the first Marathi poetess Mahadamba, Sutrapath and Drishtantapath compiled by Keshovbaz, Vachaharan of Damodar Pandit, Shishupal Vadha of Bhaskar Bhatt Borikar, and Rukmini Swayamvar of Narendra. Now next we are going to see the second part, that is Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak was the founder of Sikhism and the first guru of Sikhs. His work has to be mentioned as a great attempt at religious synthesis. He visited the holy places of both Hindu and Muslims. He had also visited Mecca. He realized that the feeling of devotion is common everywhere. He thought that all persons should be treated equally. His teaching aimed at achieving Hindu-Muslim unity. He emphasized chaste, that is pure behavior. Many people were influenced by the teachings of Guru Nanak. The number of his followers increased day by day. The followers of Guru Nanak are known as Sikh. It means Shishas, meaning disciples. The Adi Grantha, also known as the Guru Granth Sahib, is the holy book of the Sikhs. The Adi Grantha includes composition by Guru Nanak, Sant Namdev, Sant Kabir, and other sants. Guru Nanak was succeeded by 9 gurus of the Sikh. Guru Gobind Singh was the 10th guru of the Sikhs. After Guru Gobind Singh, Sikhs regarded the Guru Granth Sahib as their guru as per the orders of Guru Gobind Singh. Now let us move towards the third part, that is the Sufi sect. This is a sect in Islam. The Sufi saints believe that God is full of love and the only way to reach Him is through love and devotion. Their main teachings are love for all living beings, meditation, and simple living. Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti, Sheikh Nizamuddin Awliya were great Sufi saints. The teaching of Sufi saints led to unity in the Hindu and Muslim communities. Sufi music has made valuable contribution to Indian music. The path of bhakti taught by the saints was easy to follow for the common people. The bhakti movement was open to all men and women. The saints expressed their thoughts in the language of the people. The common people found them close to their heart. The bhakti movement has contributed greatly to the making of the Indian culture. Thank you.